So, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Today we have to start postulate 4 in quantum mechanics. Up to now, we have studied 3 postulate in your classes, and now we have to continue from the 4th postulate. As you know, by postulates that this is the basic developments of quantum mechanics, and we are developing our basic that how we will use the different terminologies in quantum mechanics when we go to different properties or different systems. Therefore, today we have to start from this. You can see that I have written it that C from book, so you have to follow the book. I also already recommended you 2 books. One is Libab and the other is Griffith. These both books are just like our textbooks, so you need to study those books as well as to solve all the problems. I have solved maximum problem of these books, and I will try to teach or solve those problems here as well. But if we left some problems, so it's mean that those problems are similar and you can solve it. So you have to do it. Still, if you have any problem, then let me know. Yeah, Ikra. So she's also coming from another email, and that's why it's a problem. I am saying again that please use your official emails. Then it will not be a problem for me as well. Okay, so the postulate for state that the time development of state function is described by iota h cut partial by partial t psi of rt h psi of rt. This equation is called the time dependent Schrodinger equation. So the solution of the above equation can be constructed through the techniques of separation of variables. Now here we can see that the equation is basically in 3 dimension, and that's why we need to use separation of variables. थोड़ा सा मैं इस चीज को आपको ये बता दूं कि ये पास्टुलेट जो है, जो चौथा पास्टुलेट है, ये श्रोडिंगर इक्वेशन के बारे में है, यानी ये टाइम डेवलपमेंट बताता है हमें स्टेट फंक्शन का. इससे पहले हमने जितने पास्टुलेट्स पढ़े उसमें हमने डिफरेंट चीजें पढ़ी थी. जैसे हमने कहा कि हमारे पास ऑपरेटर्स होंगे, फिर हमने कहा कि ऑपरेटर्स के लिए हमारे पास ऑपरेटर वैल्यूज होंगे, फिर हमने कहा कि हमारे पास स्टेट फंक्शंस होंगे और वही स्टेट फंक्शंस, और ये इसके सीखने के बाद उन स्टेट फंक्शंस को अब हम यूज कैसे करेंगे, उसके लिए हमने अभी शुरू किया है इसी को कि इसकी इक्वेशन डेवलपमेंट है, और इसको हम कहते हैं श्रोडिंगर इक्वेशन. तो स्टेट फंक्शन की जानने के लिए श्रोडिंगर इक्वेशन क्या है वो हमने अभी डेवलप करना है, और ऑलरेडी ये फॉर्म आप पढ़ चुके हैं. फिर इसकी सॉल्यूशन हमें चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर हम इसको सॉल्व कर ले तो जो सॉल्यूशन होगी वो साई ऑफ आर टी होगी. यानी साई ऑफ आर टी जो है वो इन स्टेट फंक्शन की डिस्क्रिप्शन है एक्चुअली. तो वही डिस्क्रिप्शन इस इक्वेशन से निकल आती है. दैट्स व्हाई वी नीडेड टू सॉल्व द अबव इक्वेशन वी कंस्ट्रक्ट to the techniques of separation of variable. Separation of variable already आप लोग पढ़ चुके हैं. This is a problem to me now. Maximum students are coming from non-official email. So I am allowing today all of you from non-official email. But it's creating problem during the class that I have to permit a student to enter it. So please join your class from your official emails, as I have shared the link through those emails. Okay, now, so coming back, separation of variables. See, already you people have studied it. If you remember, in your BSc, similarly in your Master MSc previous, and so you know already the basic that how we can solve something by separation of variable. For example, if there is a function, it depends on 2 variables, then what you do, you get a product of 2 functions, each one is dependent on 1 variable, and then you solve the equation on it. So here we will do the same method. you can see that psi of rt is equal to pi of r and t of t. Here psi is depending on r and t, while phi is depending on r only and t is depending on t only. H can be written as the Hamiltonian p square divided by 2m plus v of r, where H is called Hamiltonian operator. Already you know. For free particle, we can say that there is no potential because the particle is free. Then the Hamiltonian is equal to p square divided by 2m. Now what we do, we are substituting equation 2 and 1. So by putting this pi of r and t of t instead of psi of rt, you will get this equation. And here what we do now, we have to rearrange. So you can see that pi is independent of t. So if pi is independent of t, so pi will come out, and this partial over partial t will only imply on the function capital T, which is depending on time. So this is the rearranging, you can say. Now you can see that on left side we are only left with the function t, and on right side we are only left with the function of r here you can say. So then what we do, we change the partial differential to total differential, because that is not a problem. On one side we have a function of t, and on the other side we have a function of r. Here you can say iota h cut d capital T over dt of capital T. Or on the other side you can see that it is h of r and pi of r divided by pi of r. Now left hand side is a function of t only, and right hand side is a function of r only. So they must be equal to some constant. And we can equate both of them to some constant, and let that constant is E, capital E. So we have taken the left hand side iota h cut d capital T depending on time divided by dt capital T. So here what we do now, change this dt of t to this side. So we are left only with dt over t, and here we are left with iota minus, because here it is plus iota. On the right hand side it will be minus iota e divided by h cut into dt. So you can apply now the integral on it. So solve through integral, you will get this equation, and then you can take the log on both sides. So t will be equal to t naught into e power minus iota et divided by h cut. So psi of rt, now pi of r is at place, while we have an function e power minus iota e t divided by h cut. Or we can say psi of rt equal to psi of r into this thing. So here we have two parts. One is depending on r and the other is depending on time t. So this is the state function, or you can say the wave function for the Hamiltonian equation, or in other words you can say for the Schrodinger wave equation. So now taking the right hand side equal to E, you can see here, and rearranging it, you will get this thing, eigenvalue equation. So here Hamiltonian and pi, and here E into pi. And this is the equation we have written on our first lecture day, that the eigenvalue equation, also called time independent Schrodinger equation. So taking the left hand side with E here, this is the time dependent part, and taking the right hand side with E is the time independent part of the Schrodinger wave equation. Here we are taking that again, but what we do, we are now taking it for a number of wave function, that is pi of n. So h pi of n equal to E n pi of n. Or we can now write psi of rt as A is the normalization constant, pi of n of r and e power minus iota. Here E will be replaced with E n t divided by h cut, where n is 1, 2, 3, and so on. So in one dimension, now this is the equation in 3 dimension, and in 1 dimension you can write that h psi of k is representing any number instead of n. Our x is the dimension now, so equal to ek psi of k x. Here h equal to p square divided by 2m, which is also equal to minus h cut square divided by 2 into partial square by partial x square. So putting this value here in place of h, the equation becomes as minus h cut square divided by 2m partial square pi of k divided by partial x square, which is equal to ek pi of k. Or you can rearrange it again and you can write partial square psi of k divided by partial x square plus, we have multiplied this equation by 2m divided by h cut square on both sides, and then we have taken this side to here. I just forgot to write equal to 0. So partial square pi of k divided by partial x square plus 2me divided by h cut square pi of k is equal to 0. So you have to write it. Now what we do, we are replacing k square here. K square is equal to 2me divided by h cut square. So putting this value, the equation in this 2me divided by h cut square is equal to 1 over k square, you can say to k square. So let k square is equal to this thing, then the equation become like this, and you can say that this is a second order differential equation. And the solution of this equation is given by pi of k equal to a into e power iota kx. Or it is given by a into e power minus iota kx, because there is a real and imaginary part, both can be taken because the function is k square. So ek, now as we have taken k square is equal to 2me divided by h cut square, so e will be equal to h cut square k square divided by 2m. And now the psi k of xt will become as a into e power iota kx into e power minus iota omega t. Here both parts are here again, as we have inserted it here, that a into pi of n of r into e power minus iota e n t divided by h cut. So this thing can be changed to in term of omega. You can take it again. Already I have done it in the previous classes. Now if you look to this equation, a into e power iota into kx minus omega t, so it's a plane wave equation. If you remember, other possible solutions are a into e power minus iota into kx plus omega t. Here it is iota into kx minus omega t, and here it is minus iota into kx plus omega t. So these two are solutions of this wave equation, which can be simplified further by substituting just as the values as I told you, by taking k common from this exponential function. You are left with x minus omega divided by kt. Now putting this is the equation of plane wave, so we can take omega divided by k equal to v. ये velocity के बराबर है, already आप जानते हैं. Or this can also be written as multiplying this and dividing by h cut. So h cut omega divided by h cut k. Now h cut omega is energy E, while h cut k is the momentum p. So here E is equal to p square divided by 2m, and p is here. So p or p square, it will cancel, and you are left with mv divided by 2m. Now v is CL, classical value of velocity, because we know that the v is equal to v classical divided by 2. Here this v is the average velocity. V classical is the total velocity, and this v is the average velocity. Or we can say that the classical velocity is equal to double of the average velocity. Similarly, the definition of group velocity, already you have studied it in your basic physics classes such as BSc and so, that the group velocity can be defined as partial omega over partial k, or you can write partial h cut omega over partial h cut partial k. Now h cut omega is E and partial k is here. So partial ek over partial k can be written as h cut square k square divided by 2m, which can further be simplified here, and you will get h cut k by m, or in other words p by m. So Vg is equal to p by m, and here you can see that this v was equal to, here you can see that this v was equal to mvcl divided by 2m, and here it is equal to Vg is equal to p divided by m. Now again putting the value of P, which is mv, mv divided by m will be cancelled with the m, and this v was taken as vcl. So the group velocity is equal to the classical velocity, while the classical velocity here was equal to the double of the average velocity. So these various variables are just for your knowledge, that you can write this plane wave equation in different format. Here it is kx plus omega t. Here you can see that it is e power iota kx into e power minus iota omega t. Here you can see that it has been written pi of r into e power minus iota et divided by h cut. So these are different forms of the wave equation, and you can interchange it by just putting the values or rearranging the values. So this is the solution for the Schrodinger wave equation. In a psi is the solution, or you can say the state function, which we got through the equation of motion, or you can say the Schrodinger wave equation. This is the whole postulate for, and now we have to solve some problem on it. If you have any question in this portion, so please let me know through messages, or you can even on your mic and ask questions. So I came here again. Just your picture on the screen. Okay, if you can't see the lecture on my screen, doesn't matter, because I have already shared the file with you people. You can open that file and you can see what we are teaching here. Also, still you can ask question. Okay, Muhammad Abbas, no question. If anyone has any question, please let me know. G. Yes, Shahidullah. Do you have a question? Chamusara is saying no question. So I can conclude two things, that either you people understand it or you didn't, because question should be there. Okay, but it doesn't matter. You can watch the video again. You can read your lecture again. Okay, I'll go slowly. Yes, sir, got it. That's good. I'll be slow. Okay, I'll be slow. Now I'm going to the problems. There are certain problems we have to solve it based on these. Gee, someone has on his mic or her mic. Hello.
Sir?
Gigi.
Sir, postulate for to tell us about Schrodinger equation time dependent.
G.
It means Schrodinger equation tell us about wave function.
No, Schrodinger wave equation not only tell you about the wave function, but they provide you the solution. And the solution of the Schrodinger equation is the wave function actually.
GG. Sir, wave function is not no physical meaning, but eigenvalue is physical meaning. What is the difference?
If you remember, I have explained this state function in detail in your class. That it has no physical meaning, but we can get its physical meaning by taking its modulus square, which gives you the probability of anything. Number one. Second thing, you are saying, and you are comparing the wave function and you are comparing the eigenvalue. Eigenvalue is a characteristic value, which you can say is a scalar quantity, or it's a fixed quantity for a particular wave function whenever that function is operated by a particular operator. So it will have a characteristic value, and that is eigenvalue. So that's why eigenvalue has the meaning, or you can say that eigenvalue is the characteristic value which is always there for a particular operator. Okay, now coming here in Schrodinger, what is Schrodinger equation? Schrodinger equation is the second order differential equation, you can say. And in Schrodinger equation, you are always applying the Hamiltonian operator. You are always applying the Hamiltonian operator on the wave function, and you are getting the energy eigenvalue. Now there are two parts. One is that you are getting the value which is time independently, and in other you are considering the time dependent part. So there are two solution possible, that as we have separated the wave function in two parts and then we got the solution for it. So that was the main thing, that it tells us that how we will get the time independent part and how we will get the time dependent part of the Schrodinger wave equation.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you
Okay.
kita tayar shi patar postulate kita so the class na vistu. That's why.
Okay, no, but I think before that we have explained wave function independently.
Thank you, sir. हो गया अभी. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay. So now coming, there are certain problems, so I have solved it. We are solving problems from both books, that is Lebab and Griffith. So this problem is from Griffith book, which is 1.9. A particle of mass m is in the state. So the state is given psi of rt, which is a into e power minus a into mx squared divided by h cut plus iota t. So here you have both the parts. One is a mx squared divided by h cut, and the other is minus iota a into t. So what we have to do, where a and small a are positive real constant. Okay, point A mean that normalize this wave function. Second, for what potential energy function v of x does psi satisfy the Schrodinger equation? That you mean to find the potential value of the potential for which this psi will satisfy the Schrodinger equation. Third, C, calculate the expectation value of x, x square, p and p square. D, find delta x and delta p. Is their product consistent with the uncertainty principle? This problem is basically on these postulate, but once we solve these problems and find the values of delta x and delta p, then we can also find the uncertainty relation from it. Because we are going next to teach the uncertainty principle, I have to teach that and you have to learn it, but here we have to develop our concept about it. So the problem is now that we are given a state function psi, and what we have first, we have to normalize this wave function. Second, then we have to find the value for the potential, and then we have to find the expectation values for the x, x square, p and p square, and then we have to find delta x and delta p. So these are certain parts of the problem. Now psi of x t is equal to a into e power minus a mx square divided by h e minus iota t. So we have written in exponential form here. This one is the iota t are the time dependent part, and this one is the time independent part. So what we do now, we are taking the complex conjugate of psi. So psi of xt equal to a star into e power this, और यहाँ पे जो माइनस है वो चला जाएगा और आयोटा टी रह जाएगा. अब नॉर्मलाइजेशन कंडीशन जो है आपके पास जनरली वो क्या है? इट इज द इंटीग्रल ऑफ साई साई स्टेरिक डी टी डीटा इक्वल टू 1. अब साई की वैल्यू यही है और साई स्टेरिक की वैल्यू यही है. सो व्हाट वी हैव टू डू, वी हैव टू टेक दिस बोथ वैल्यूज हियर, और इनको यहाँ पे दोनों जब आप लिख लेते हैं तो e पावर माइनस आयोटा और e पावर प्लस आयोटा जब ये सम अप होंगे पावर में तो वो 0 बन जाएगा, यानी e पावर 0 विच इज इक्वल टू 1. और यहाँ पे माइनस ए एम एक्स स्क्वायर और यहाँ पे माइनस ए एम एक्स स्क्वायर, ये सम अप हो जाएगा. सो इट विल बी माइनस 2a mx स्क्वायर डिवाइड बाई h कट, और a स्टेरिक ये a स्क्वायर मॉडुलस बन जाएगा. सो you can write it as 2 into a square. Here the integral is from minus infinity to infinity, and here the integral is from 0 to infinity. That's why 2 is here. If we take the integral from 0 to infinity, so 2 will be here. If we remove this 2, then it will be from minus infinity to infinity, which is e power minus 2a mx square divided by h cut dx. Now what we have to do, we have to take this power equal to some variable, and that is 2a mx square divided by h cut is equal to t, and then we have to find the value of dx. So for that we need to find the value of x first, and then we can find the value of dx. So equating this thing to t, then finding the value of x, which is equal to h cut by 2am under the root into under the root t. Now taking differential on both sides, dx equal to 1 by 2, because this t has the power of 1 by 2, so it will come here and t will become as 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2, because 1 into minus 1 by 1 by 2 minus 1 will give you minus 1 by 2. So take these two values, that is the value of dx, which is this one, and the value of t, and put it in this equation. So it becomes as 2a square n2, the value of 1 by 2 into h cut divided by 2am, which is constant. Integral start from 0 to infinity, so and e will be e power minus t, and t minus 1 by 2 into dt. And this is a familiar equation now. This is a familiar form you will know from the gamma function. So taking that value, you can find the value which is equal to this is equivalent to 1, and this integral has a value. So take that value, which is to be used here. I'll have written this value somewhere. Okay, that is 1 over under root pi. That is 1 over under root pi. And in this integral, 0 to infinity e power minus t into t minus half dt, this term is equal to 1 divided by under the root pi. And that is the function given or obtained by gamma function. If you remember your special function in mathematical methods. Here, this equation is now equal to 1, putting this value and then equating a whole square equal to this thing, and then finding the value of a, which is 2am divided by pi h cut whole power 1 by 4. So this is the first part of the problem. The Schrodinger equation is now iota h cut partial x psi by partial t equal to this thing. This is the value of E, and this is the value of H, and this is the potential. Now we are going to find the value of potential. So what we do, partial psi by partial t here, in taking the value of psi. Where is psi? Oh yeah, here it is. This is psi. Now put the value of A here, and then differentiate this psi by partial t, you can see here. And when you do it, you will get this value, which is nothing, just a differentiation of the wave function. You can do it very easily. And then you will get the value here again, which is equal to psi. And here you have minus iota a into psi. Again, differentiating again with respect to x, this is part t, and now this is part with respect to x, you will get minus 2amx divided by h cut. And you can do it. Then again differentiating with respect to x, this thing, you will get this value in a psi plus x, psi of x over psi of x, and putting the value of this psi of partial psi by partial x, which is here, and then yeah, you can see here, and then simplify this. I have done it, and at the end what you have the value, this one, partial square psi over partial x square is equal to minus 2am over h cut plus 2amx divided by h cut whole square into psi. Now putting this value in this equation, the Schrodinger wave equation iota h cut partial psi by partial t. So place the value of partial psi by partial t, place the value of partial square psi by partial x square, and then you have the v of psi. Just now, yeah, here v of psi is equal to this thing. After simplifying, this is equal to 2a square mx square into psi. V of psi is equal to this thing, so v equal to 2a square mx square. Here is the value of v, which is 2ma square into x square. Now this is the potential for which psi will satisfy the Schrodinger wave equation. Now part C, which is the expectation value of x. So you know how to find the expectation value of x. So this is x and psi into psi steric dx. And now if you look at here, this is x, and when you put the value of psi into psi steric, or you can, in other words, you can say psi modulus square. So this value is you can even value, and here it is multiplied with the odd value. So odd and even. So it is an odd integral, and the solution will be equal to 0. We don't have to solve it because we know that whenever there are two functions, odd and even, in multiplication, the solution is always 0. So the expectation value of x is 0. But what about the expectation value of x square? So taking x square, so x square into product of psi whole square modulus. Now here this function is also even and this is also even, so we will have a solution. You can solve this integral very easily, and you can get the value of h cut divided by 4am. So I have done it here. Again, taking this 2am x square over h cut equal to t, and then finding the value of dx as we have done earlier. Solving that integral again in the same format, you will get this value, that x average value is equal to 1 by 2 into 2am divided by h cut square power 1 minus 1 by 4. So it is 5 by 4, sorry. So you will get the value of x square average. Again, finding the value of p, so you can easily get it that p is equal to m dx over dt of the average value, because we are getting we are interested in finding the average value of p. As the average value of x is 0, so their derivative will also be equal to 0. So the average value of p will also be 0. Again, now p square. So putting the value of p is h cut by iota partial by partial x. This is the operator value of p. You already know it. If it is p square, then it will be also a square, and then psi steric. So putting these values here, psi square partial square psi over partial x square into dx. Now you use the values of psi partial. You already calculated the partial square psi over partial x square. So taking that value here again, multiplying this with psi steric, and then solving the integral. There are now two integral. One is this one and the other is this one, and you will get this value after solution. Here it is just the integral of x square, and we have find its value already. So get that value here, h cut divided by 2am, and then simplify it. So you will have the value of p square average, which is amh. So we have found all the four values, the expectation values of x, x square, p, and p square. The expectation value of x and p are 0, while the expectation value of x square and p square has some numbered value. Now finding the delta x. So if you remember, delta x square is equal to x square average minus x average square. So x square average value is h cut divided by 4am, while x average is 0. So minus 0 value will have nothing to do. So the delta x is equal to this thing, or delta x square, sorry. So delta x will become as square root h cut divided by 4am. Similarly, delta p square is defined as p square average minus p average whole square. Again, p average is 0 and p square has this value. So delta p will be am h cut square root. Now, you know the condition of uncertainty is that we have to multiply delta x and delta p. So the product of delta x and delta p now will be equal to h cut by 2. So this justifies, if you remember, that the uncertainty principle or the uncertainty relation, which tells you that the product of delta x and the product of delta p is equal to h cut by 2. Okay, that was the problem from Griffith book, and we have a similar problem, exactly similar in nature, from Lebab, that is 3.10 on page 76. So for the state psi of rt, a into e power minus x naught divided by 4a square whole square. Similarly, e power iota p naught x over h cut into e power iota omega naught into t. There are three parts in this wave function, but if you see here, these two parts are time independent, but one containing the x value and the other containing the momentum value, while the third one is containing the time dependent part. Here x naught, a naught, p naught, and omega naught are constant. So show that delta x whole square is equal to a square. So this is the similar nature problem, but it has just given the wave function, and finding the value of delta x whole square, you need to find the value of x and x square, and then you can find the value. So arc the consistency of this condition with the change in the shape that psi whole square suffers with a change in the parameter a. So obviously, if delta x whole square is equal to a square, so it's mean that it will change the wave shape of the wave function. So we will draw that as well. Again, what we have to do first, we have to normalize the wave function as a is here. If it has been asked or not, in every problem, we need to find the value of a. Meaning, we have to normalize the wave function first. So applying the normalization condition here, you will get this thing, and then solving this integral by taking x minus x naught equal to z in the same manner, do it and solve it, you will get the value of pi by alpha, and putting those values, the value of a is equal to 1 over alpha into 2 pi under the root and then whole under the root. Now, finding the value of x square. So x square is given by psi steric x square into psi. So x square or psi steric psi, putting the value of psi star psi, you will have this thing. Both are even function. Again, use this the same selection you have made, that x minus x naught equal to z, and then find the value of dx, which is equal to dz. Putting again back in the equation and solving it, you will have this value pi divided by alpha whole under the root. Now differentiate with respect to alpha. So differentiating this with respect to alpha, both sides, you will get this thing, and so x square will be equal to this thing, or you can solve it and you will get that x square average is equal to x naught square plus a square. Now finding the value of x average. So the value of x average, we can find that it is equal to x naught. You have to solve it. I left it, but it's not difficult. It's very easy, so you can solve it. Now delta x is defined as that the square of delta x average is equal to x square average minus x average whole square. Putting the values here, the value of x square average is x naught square plus a naught plus a square, while the value of x average is x naught. So here it is square, so that will be x naught square. Now minus x naught square plus x naught square gone, and you are only left with the a square, which is the required answer. Now draw it. So what we have to draw it. This is the value of x naught, and x-axis is here, and you know that delta x equal to a naught. Delta x equal to a. Or in other words, the average delta x is whole square is equal to a square. So a is the width of the Gaussian wave. In other words, of the wave function. If a is larger, the width will be larger, and you can see here that the wave is flattened. A is large. When a is small, then you will have a sharp peak wave. So as we are being asked by the problem, arc the consistency of this conclusion with the change in the shape that psi square suffers with a change in the parameter a. So yes, a representing the width of the parameter psi square. That's why you can see here that the shapes depends on a. The variation of x is the same as the mean square deviation delta x. Okay, for the same wave function, this is the same wave function as we have seen there in problem 3.10. In problem 3.11, calculate the uncertainty delta p. So first you have solved it for delta x whole square, Now, similarly, you have to solve it for delta p square or delta p whole square. So again, what you need to find? You need to find p average and then p square average. And then from p square average minus p average whole square, you can find delta p square, which has been asked, that find delta p. So you can find delta p. And also, do you find your answer to be consistent with the uncertainty principle? So for uncertainty principle, what you have to do, we find the delta x and delta p and then find their product, as we have done in problem 1.9 of Griffith book. So do it by yourself. Still, if you have any problem, then you can ask me again and I will solve it. Although I have solved the second portion, that find the value of p average and then p square here. P average is equal to p naught and p square here, that is equal to this thing. Now delta p can be found by this relation. So putting the values on, also we know delta x equal to a. So delta x delta p product is equal to h cut by 2, which is consistent with the uncertainty principle. So I'm not going into detail because these are similar nature problems, but just you have to do it again and again. Now here problem 3.4 in Libov. I have left some problem 3.1, 3.2 and 3.3. These are easy problems and you can solve it. And the problem 3.4 is a little bit, although it's not difficult, but a little bit different. That's why the displacement operator D is defined by this. Here is a displacement operator which is operating on a function f of x, and you are given another function which has a two variable, that is x plus zeta. Show that the eigenfunction of D operator is of the form eigenfunction, find the eigenfunction for it, that is pi equal to e power beta x into g of x, where g of x plus zeta equal to g of x and beta is any complex number. What is the eigenvalue corresponding to pi of b? Also find the eigenvalue for this operator. So what we do, that pi of b is the eigenfunction, then d pi of b into e. So if we take this eigenfunction, which is equal to e power beta x into g of x here, and operate with d operator on both sides. So after operating this here, we already know that it will change this x into x plus zeta, because it is defined as that d is an operator which changes a function depending on x only, that the function will depend on x plus zeta. So here this e power beta x has been changed by operating on d, that has been changed to beta into x plus zeta, because that is the definition of the operator. And similarly, g of x will be changed to g into x plus zeta. But here this g of x plus zeta is equal to g of x, because it has been given here that g of x plus zeta is equal to g of x. So here it is g of x, and here it will be e power beta x into e power beta zeta. Now e power beta x into g of x, ये तो this is the same wave function, यानी वही wave function है pi of b, और इसके साथ ये एक term आ गया e power beta zeta. So now you can see that the same d is operating on this pi, and you are getting e power beta zeta into pi of b, which is pi of b is on both sides. So that is the eigen equation now, and the eigen equation has the same eigenfunction pi of b, and the eigenvalue is e power beta into zeta. Show that e power beta zeta is the eigenvalue with the eigenstate, this thing. So this is the problem. Now it's very simple problem, but the statement is a little bit confusing, so you have to understand the problem and then you have to solve it. There will be no problem in it. Still, if you have any difficulty solving this problem, try it, then let me know. I will solve it again and will try to overcome your questions. So these are the problems on this postulate. Solid also check postulate number 3rd, check their problems. Still, if you have any difficulty in that, let me know. It's an end, and now you can ask me any question if you have. So, is there any question or not? No question. Okay. So I'll stop the recording.